Once upon a time, in a tiny village in France, there lived a kind man named Maurice. He was a trader who sold things like pots and cloth, but lately his shop wasn't doing well. His little house was old and creaky, but it was full of love because he lived with his daughter, Beauty. She was sweet and cheerful, with a smile that made everyone happy. They loved sitting by the fire, telling stories, and eating warm soup together. One sunny morning, Maurice packed his bag for a big trip to sell his goods. "Don't worry, Beauty," he said, giving her a big hug. "I'll be back soon with gifts for you." Beauty waved as he rode off on his old horse, her heart a little sad but hopeful. Maurice traveled for days, but his trip didn't go as planned. He sold very little and felt tired and worried. On his way home, he got lost in a dark, spooky forest. The trees were tall, and the wind made funny noises, like whispers in the shadows. Maurice shivered and wished for a warm place to rest. Suddenly, through the fog, he saw a huge castle with tall towers and glowing windows. It looked like a place from a fairy tale. Maurice tied his horse to a tree and walked to the giant wooden door. He knocked loudly, knock, knock, knock. No one answered. The door creaked open by itself, making a spooky sound. "Hello," Maurice called, his voice echoing. The castle was empty, but it was beautiful inside. Golden chandeliers hung from the ceiling, and colorful rugs covered the floor. In the dining room, he found a long table piled with yummy food, crispy bread, juicy apples, steaming soup, and even chocolate cake. Next to it was a cozy bed with fluffy blankets and soft pillows. Maurice's tummy rumbled. He sat down, ate a big meal, and licked his fingers clean. "This is the best food ever," he said to himself. Then he climbed into the bed, pulled the blankets up to his chin, and fell fast asleep, dreaming of home. The next morning, sunlight poured through the windows, making the castle sparkle. Maurice stretched and yawned, feeling happy and strong. He looked around, but still no one was there. "Who lives here?" he wondered. Curious, he explored the castle. He found rooms filled with books, shiny suits of armor, and paintings of faraway places. Outside, in the garden, he discovered a bush covered with bright red roses. They smelled so sweet. Beauty would love one of these roses, Maurice thought, smiling. He reached out and snipped one with his knife. Boom! A loud roar shook the ground, and Maurice fell backward. "Oh no!" he gasped. A huge, furry beast jumped out from behind the bush. He was as tall as a tree, with sharp claws, big teeth, and a long red cape that swirled around him. His eyes glowed with anger. "You came into my castle," the beast roared. "You ate my food, slept in my bed, and now you steal my rose." Maurice was so scared he couldn't move. His heart pounded like a drum. "I am sorry," he stammered. Just then, a voice shouted, "Father!" It was Beauty. She had been worried when Maurice didn't come home, so she rode her horse through the forest to find him. She jumped off her horse and ran to the garden, her braid bouncing behind her. Beauty stood next to her dad and looked up at the beast. He was scary, but she was brave. "Please don't hurt my dad," she said. The beast stared at them, his furry face softening just a little. Then he growled, "I'll let your father go, but you must stay here forever." Maurice cried, "No, Beauty, don't." But Beauty loved her dad so much. "I'll stay," she said bravely. "Just let him go home." The beast grabbed Maurice gently in his big paws and carried him outside the garden gate. "Go," the beast said. Maurice looked back at Beauty, his eyes full of tears, and ran to the village, promising to find a way to save her. At first, Beauty was scared in the big castle. The beast looked like a monster, with his furry face and loud voice. She stayed in her room, peeking out at him. But the beast wasn't mean. Every day he brought her breakfast with pancakes and fruit. He gave her soft blankets to keep her warm and showed her a library full of colorful books. "Read whatever you like," he said. Beauty loved stories, so she read about pirates, princesses, and magical lands. Sometimes the beast sat with her, listening quietly as she read aloud. He even laughed at the funny parts. One day, Beauty and the beast walked in the garden together. He showed her his favorite flowers and told her about the stars he watched at night. Beauty started to smile more. The beast wasn't so scary after all. He was kind and gentle even if he looked like a monster. One evening, as they sat by a crackling fire, the beast looked shy. "Beauty," he said, "will you marry me?" Beauty was surprised. "You're my friend," she said softly. "But I miss my dad. I can't marry you yet." The beast nodded, understanding her heart. Then he showed her a special gift, a tiny magic mirror. "Ask it to show your dad," he said. Beauty held the mirror and whispered, "Show me my father." The mirror glowed, and there was Maurice. He was in bed, looking very sick, with no one to help him. Beauty's eyes filled with tears. "Oh no, he's all alone," she cried. "Beast, please let me go to him. He needs me." The beast's heart hurt because he loved Beauty, but he wanted her to be happy. "Go to your dad," he said sadly. "You're free." Beauty hugged him tightly. "I'll come back, I promise," she said. She rode home as fast as her horse could gallop. At home, Beauty took care of Maurice. She made him soup, read him stories, and helped him get strong again. The village kids loved hearing about her adventure, and they clapped when she told them about the beast's kindness. Beauty was happy to be with her dad, but she missed the castle and her new friend. One night, Beauty had a scary dream. She saw the beast lying in his bed, looking weak and sick. His red cape was crumpled, and his eyes were closed. Beauty woke up with a start. "The beast is in trouble," she said. She kissed her dad goodbye and ran back to the castle. When she got there, she found the beast in the same bed from her dream. He was barely breathing. Beauty knelt beside him, tears falling. "Please, beast, don't go," she cried. "I love you." Suddenly, a bright light filled the room. Sparkles swirled around the beast, and poof! He changed. He wasn't a beast anymore. He was a handsome prince with kind eyes and a big smile. Beauty gasped. "What happened?" she asked. The prince took her hand. "I was under a magic spell," he said. "I looked like a beast because of a curse. Only true love could break it. You saw my kind heart and loved me for who I am. You saved me." Beauty and the prince hugged, their hearts full of joy. Soon they got married in the castle. The garden was filled with flowers, and the village came to dance and eat cake. Beauty and the prince laughed and sang, living happily ever after in their magical castle.